A two-story car park has a total of 1,020 parking spaces. At 6:30 hours one morning, 130 of the 1,020 spaces are filled. During the next hour, no cars left the car park, but another 4/15 of the 10,000, sorry, the 1,020 spaces are filled. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled at 7:30 hours. So I suggest that every time you do a question, you read it twice. You could break it down. Okay, say the two-story car park has 1,020 parking spaces. That's important. 130 of 130 of the 1,000 spaces, 1,020 spaces are filled. So we could go ahead and try to figure out 1/30th of 1,020. We could simply put that in a calculator as simply 1,020 divided by 30. I can work it on your head as well. We get 34. So we know that 34 spaces are filled so far at 6:30. During the next hour, no cars left the car park, but another 4/15 of the 1,020 spaces are filled. So we have another 4/15 by 10, 20. I'll just put that in calculator. 1,020 by 4 divided by 15 gives me 272. So we now know that another 272 come into the car park and fill the parking spots. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled at 7:30. So we already know how many are filled. We just need to add 272 plus 34. That gives us 306. So those that are not filled is simply a matter of take away the total and those that are filled. So those take away 306. So my answer for that is 714. Not too hard, I don't think. All right, so let's try another one on another part of the 1,020 parking spaces, 20% are on the top level. How many parking spaces are on the top level? So let's go ahead and clear that. And we just find 20% of 1,020. That is this that are those are the parking spaces on the top level. TL. So then 20% of 1,020, so equal to 204. Right? Part D. Some of the spaces are reserved for monthly paying customers. The ratio of reserved spaces to non-reserved spaces is 5:7. Calculate the number of non-reserved spaces. All right, so what we could do is we could approach this by using it as like a fraction. So we could add 5 and 7 to get the total. 5 plus 7 equal to 12. So what we know is the 5 represents the reserved spaces. The non-reserved spaces will be 7. So 5 over 12, 5 over 12 multiplied by 1,020. Those are the reserved. Well, the 7 over 12 is the non-reserved, which is the ones that we're really interested in anyway. So we don't need to worry about both. All right, so 7 over 12 by 1020. So 7 divided by 12. We get 595. I was stuck for a minute. I was getting such a weird answer. And I think if you're having a weird answer, sometimes you could double check. Because when I did it just now, I was getting 594.66 something or the other. So I did it again and I got the same wrong answer. I just tried it again. I did it a different way. So I divided 1,220 by 12. And then I multiplied it by 7 afterwards to see if and it gave me 595. So the number of non-reserved parking spaces is 595. No, the last part E. And when we're doing these exams and doing these questions, we have to ask ourselves if the answers make sense. So if I get a decimal in a question like this, you might question it a little bit because you don't have decimal parking spaces. And I don't think they would give you a question that would give you decimal parking spaces. So, all right. So, you either have a whole parking space or not. All right. So the part E, it says the cost for parking at the car park is shown in the table below. We have a table. It has under 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes, and you can see the rest. So it says Michaela leaves the car park at 18:30 hours. That was like 6:30 p.m. and pays $9.25. Determine the earliest time she could have arrived at the car park. So she pays $9.25. Right, so that is between 4 to 8 hours. Because this is the one that's 9:25. So between 4 and 8 hours. But ask what is the earliest. So if you want to find what the earliest is, we have to look at the higher end of the range that was given. So our range is 4 to 8. So we need to use 8. So we just need to take 1830 and it's already in 24 hours format. So it is easier to subtract. So 8 hours would give me 10:30. So 10:30 is the earliest that she could have arrived. That's 10:30 a.m. All right, the last part of the question says, Danraj bought a weekly parking ticket for $40. That week, he visited the car park 5 different times. The length of time he parked his car on each occasion is given below. And you can see the numbers show that Danraj saved $8.50 by buying the weekly ticket. So in these types of questions, they already told you what the answer is, $8.50. So you know what answer you need to have at the end of the question. You just have to show your work, how you got to that point. So it says 25 minutes, 7.5 hours, 11 hours. So let's look at that. So under 30 minutes is free. Under 30 minutes is free. Okay, try to fit all. 7.5 hours is somewhere between 4 and 8 hours. So that's $9.25. So we put 9.25. Then 11 hours is more than 8 hours and up to 24. So between 8 and 24, that is where we sit in. So 15, 1, 5. Then there is 8 3/4 hours. Now that's definitely over 8. So that is also 15 hours. And then 8 hours exact. So $9.25. So you can already see we have two $9.25, two $15, that's 30 plus 18.50. So that calculates to $48.50. So because the parking ticket is $40, so we already can see that the answer is correct. We will just have to say 48.50, take away $40. And that will come to $8.50. And that is the end of number one of this particular paper.